I've already applied my eyeshadow primer and my eyebrows, and now I'm going to proceed with my base makeup, and then we're going to do the pet pairing portion of the video. The first thing I'm going to grab is, as per usual, my Auric Glow Lust in the shade Selenite. Speaking of the Glow Lust, I'm legit concerned, you guys, because I think I'm all the way, like if I hold the bottle into the light, I think I'm all the way down to here at this point, and I'm legit concerned that by the end of the year I will have run out of this. And I love this product so much, I never want to run out of it. So I am like seriously considering when they restock to get myself a backup of this shade and potentially two more shades. One that's like a shade darker, I think that's the shade Pyrite, to use maybe in the summer or just as like a alternative as a highlighter on my cheekbones. And one deeper shade to use as a bronzer. You tell me if that sounds crazy. It's definitely going to be very exorbitant in terms of how much it will cost, but at the same time, it's not like I've bought much makeup this year, let's be honest. Next I'm grabbing my concealer, and today I'm going to go for my... I always forget the name of this brand. First Aid Beauty. Jeez, okay. The Hello Fab Bendy Avocado Concealer from First Aid Beauty. I'm going to grab that as my concealer today. So, and also because it has taken her like so long to restock, I think, you know, maybe by the time I'm really finished with this and I have to wait for a restock, it will be like several months easily, because she stocked her product in the end of January. I remember when I bought the Auric stuff, she stocked them in January, end of January. They sold out really quickly and they're still not back. So I am like really seriously at least going to get myself a backup of Selenite, because I do not ever want to run out of this product. It is 100%, without exaggeration, one of my absolute staples right now. I don't want to be without it. Let's chat a bit about makeup releases while I apply my foundation. I'm just going to grab my Pat McGrath one. Last time I mentioned the Mary Jane palette from Melt Cosmetics, and that I was super tempted by it, but I wasn't going to purchase it because, for one, I was trying to dupe it in my head as it is, and two, I don't buy Melt palettes without hearing reviews anymore. And this is one case where, you know, waiting for the reviews really paid off, because the reviews for that palette have been very lukewarm, I have not heard from anyone that I personally follow a positive review of that palette. The shimmers look chunky and flaky and quite difficult to apply. The mattes are fine, but to be honest, there were a couple of mattes in that palette that looked extremely similar to me. One thing that really surprised me about that palette though, so when I saw the promo images, and you know, I was thinking of all these dupes in my head, I somehow didn't imagine this palette to be as smoky and dark as it is. It's really smoky. Like, a lot of the shades have a very dark, smoky, grungy base to them, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's once again a confirmation that probably it isn't exactly the type of color story that I should be going for, because while I like these shades a lot, the chances of me wearing them regularly are very small. Don't get me wrong, I have like smokier, deeper neutrals that I would wear on the regular, but they're not as deep toned as the ones in that palette. Continuing on my journey to pan the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in the shade Moonlight. I'm going to set my face with that. So I'm quite happy and quite relieved that I didn't buy that palette, because I probably, one, might not have liked it at all due to the formula issues, and two, I might have found out that it's just a little bit too dark for me, and I am just really happy that I didn't buy it. I'm thinking if I want to do a video where I kind of like create my perfect dupe version of that palette, not exactly like really duping those shades, but creating something similar. So the only thing that I am probably going to be missing, and I'll probably have to go into my single eyeshadow collection for that, the more olive toned mattes and shimmers. Those are probably the biggest reason I was attracted to that palette, and the shades that I'm not going to be able to dupe out with Natasha and Pat. I will have to dig into my single eyeshadows. I have a few in mind from Color Drain and Anastasia Beverly Hills that might be similar. I don't think I have a dupe for the deep olive matte shade in the palette, even in my Subculture palette. I don't think I have a shade that's quite like the one in the Mary Jane palette, but for the rest maybe I can do something in those lines, just creating my perfect version of the Mary Jane palette. I don't know if that's something that you would consider interesting content, but if you would, let me know. For bronzer, I'm going to dip into my Physicians Formula, what's this one again? Butter bronzer. I think I'm really close to hitting pan on this, by the way. So, speaking of makeup releases, do you guys feel like brands are releasing nothing even remotely interesting? I've been so bored with everything that's been released that if I consider how much I've purchased this year makeup-wise, it's almost nothing. Like, for my personal standards, it's almost nothing. At this point, I'm a little bit concerned that at the end of this year, we're not gonna be able to do palette ranking because I have bought one quad. That's it. I have not bought another eyeshadow palette. I am sincerely hoping that Motherpad is going to release a new mothership very soon because I need something to look forward to. I've reached new levels of desperation where MamaPad needs to be the reason I have something to look forward to. So if she would just do me a favor and release a mothership, or like hint the release of a mothership soon, that would be pretty sweet. She's been releasing once again these promo images that are full of pink hues, and I'm a little bit concerned. But at this point, I'll take a Divine Rose 3, just give me a mothership. For my blush today, I'm going to take another oldie but a goodie. This is my Baby Love from Too Faced, which is this very pretty, very neutral brown mauve shade. So how about you guys? Have you been purchasing a lot of makeup lately, or are you like me and you're kind of so bored with everything that you find yourself not having bought anything for months? And that's probably also one of the reasons that I purchased that Dark Star kit only for the blue eyeshadow. Like, normal, non-lunatic, non-desperate Mariam probably would not have bought a whole kit just for that blue eyeshadow. But the new version, the new and regressed, not improved, definitely not improved version of me did, because there's nothing else to buy. For my highlighter, I'm going to go into my beloved trio highlighter trio from Pat McGrath, and I'm going to be combining these two shades, which is one of the standard things that I do with this trio. I combine one of the golden leaning shades together with the more pink shade to create a peach hue. And I absolutely love the texture of this highlighter. It's just so smooth, it has a little bit of sparkle to it. I just love it so very much. I really love the formula of that little trio. I'm so happy that I purchased it. It was an impulse purchase during a sale from her last year, I think about a year ago, but it's one of the best purchases I've made. And now let's move into the pet pairing portion of the video, where for today we're going to be pairing two quads, and we're going to go into a little bit more of a neutral direction. So let me show you the quads we are working with today. Today I'm going to be using the Interstellar Icon quad together with the Risque Rose quad. The Interstellar Icon quad is easily one of my absolute favorite palettes from Pat McGrath at this point. I just love it so very much. The look I will be going for today is more on the neutral side because I want to focus it a little bit on this shade here. This is the shade Divine Dahlia, which is such an interesting, beautiful and difficult to describe shade. It's like this olive taupe with a variety of these different sparkles on it. Like I see a little bit of green, a little bit of pink, but what I want to do today, and I tried it once for the heck of it, because I like to sit in my little makeup corner here sometimes and just take out my eyeshadows, especially my Pat McGrath eyeshadows, and like layer them over each other to see how they work out. I tried it once with lavendering over top, and I thought that looked so spectacular that I had to try it once on my eyes. So this is what we're going for today. I am going to be starting the look off with my little single here in Statuesque, which is a very nice shade to carve out your crease if you prefer to put something matte over there. Just FYI, I have used Divine Dahlia for like one and done looks, and it works really nicely for that too. I'm just going to like apply the tiniest bit of Statuesque. I'm not even going to bother using too much of it because I do want to focus a lot of the look on Divine Dahlia. But I thought it might be just a little bit easier if I start off with the matte eyeshadow. Now before I apply the Divine Dahlia shade, I just want to run something a little bit deeper here, very close to my lashes, just to give them a little bit more definition and body. And then I'm going to layer Divine Dahlia over top of that. Oh, and maybe I should tell you what shade I'm using. I'm just grabbing that really deep chocolate brown shade from the Risque Raw Squad. It tonally does not fit at all the Divine Dahlia shade, but I'm hoping that it's just going to be there to give some body to the lash line. And it's not going to interfere too much with the tones of Divine Dahlia, because I'm going to layer Divine Dahlia still over top. Now I cleaned off my brush and I'm just going to start blending this here close to my lashes. I'm not going to take it too much out or upwards, just blending it here lightly into my outer corners. Now I'm going to go into the shade Divine Dahlia Just Dry and start applying it over my lid. I think it's just a little bit easier to start with the dry shade than blend it out a bit and only after make it appear more metallic by applying a glitter glue. So for now I'm just going to sort of sketch it out on my lid and do a little bit of blending. If you prefer a more subtle look, this is probably going to be enough for you. You wouldn't even have to apply glitter glue or anything, because this already looks really beautiful as it is. But I'm just going to blend it upwards a bit with statuesque, just so it appears there like one smooth transition. Sorry guys, my camera really cut me off, so I think you missed a few steps there. Because I'm anything but a subtle person, I did apply a little bit of my glitter glue. This is Pixie Epoxy from Ferini, and I did take Divine Dahlia on my finger and I just reapplied it over top of the glitter glue to make it more intense. Again, I'm going to do a little bit of blending here around the edges, just so it doesn't look harsh. And I think this already makes such a beautiful smoky eye. And I think you can very subtly see the effect of that deeper shade we applied in the lower lash, because it gave even more depth to like the lash line. I really love that. Now I'm going to clean off my finger and try to very gently go into the shade Lavendering, because I don't want at all for Lavendering to take over the Divine Dahlia shade. I'm going to take a tiny bit like this, just a few flakes, and I'm going to press those very gently over top of Divine Dahlia, and more specifically here in the center of the lid. I'm sure that sadly you cannot really see all the beautiful sparkles that I can see when I look into the mirror now, but when I look into the mirror now, there's like those purple sparkles, the green sparkles from the Divine Dahlia shade. Just there's like a glitter explosion on my lids, and it just looks so beautiful and interesting to look at. I'm going to take Interstellar Icon again and go into this shade, which is oh so beautiful, the shade Golden Polaris, and apply that here into the inner corners of my eye. On my lower lash line, I'm sort of going to repeat what I did on my lid. I'm going to take a little bit of this deep brown shade from the Risque Raw Squad, but like the tiniest bit, and I'm going to try to run that here in the very outer edge of the eye and very close to the lash, because I don't want it to go too much downwards, just to give a little bit of definition there to the outer part of the eye. And then I'm going to take that same brush, go back into Divine Dahlia, and before I apply Divine Dahlia on my lower lashes, I am going to spritz it to minimize fallout as much as possible. And I'm going to run Divine Dahlia again over top of that deep brown and take it to the inner side of the lash line, and giving it one final blend. I'm going to apply this Kiko eyeshadow stick in the number 04 in my waterline. It's just a nice taupey brown. Okay guys, I cannot stand it that you cannot see the sparkles, so there you have it. I'm shining my artificial camera light here in attempts to show you the sparkle. This is just daylight. And here you have it, just, you know, daylight, no artificial lighting. I kind of forgot how neon this lipstick is, so it's a little bit brighter than I thought it would be. This is the shade Bittersweet from Urban Decay, which is one of my absolute favorite, like, bright magenta, purple, orchid sort of colors. And just to make things match a little bit more, I had to apply the tiniest bit of lavendering gloss over top of this lipstick, just to give it a little bit more of those, like, purpley sparkles. Yes, I'm going to wear my face mask, my double face mask over top of that, and I don't care. I'm just not sure about the lipstick. I feel like maybe I should have gone for something more like Pink Ultraness that really has more pink tones to it. But on the other hand, I haven't worn Bittersweet in such a long time, and it's such a cool color. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the whole completed look. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. It's going to be a really exciting evening because I'm finally going to see the final 2 episodes of the Greek tragedy, aka the TV series Your Honor with Bryan Cranston on TV. So I'll tell you about that next week. I'm sure it's going to end really badly. I'm 100% certain of that. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!